What's up everyone, Steve here again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. Here's a quick installation video for this part 7749, the servo adapter for the Traxxas XMAXX. And basically all this does, it lets you use a standard size servo and fit it in your XMAXX. And it's this basic part just here, just this little plastic kind of adapter that takes up the space and lets you put in a standard size servo. So let's get cracking. Okay, here are the servos I'm going to be using. They are JX brand. I've been using in several cars before. They are awesome, and especially bang for your buck. You can't beat them. They are from GearBest. I'll leave the link in the description for both of these guys. This one I'm not going to be using, although it still is good. 30 kilos, waterproof. It is very quick, so at 7.4 volt at 0.9 seconds, and it's got 30 kilos of torque. At 6 volt it's got 24 kilos of torque, so that's pretty amazing as well. The upgraded 2085X servo for the Traxxas, I believe, is 32 kilos, just over 32 kilos. So I'll be using this one, the 46 kilo JX brushless servo. As you can see, looks pretty cool. Steel gear, high precision, it says here. Now let's have a look at some of the specs. Now at 6 volt, it has a stall torque of 38 kilos. At 7.4 volt, it has a stall torque of 47.8 kilos. So that is pretty impressive, and that's why I thought this would be a cool candidate to see how this guy would work with this thing here, this basic, what's this, says servo adapter, so you can use a standard size servo and not the Traxxas one, because the Traxxas one isn't really true 1/5 scale. True 1/5 scale is pretty big. So anyway, at 6 volt, 0.12 second speed. At 7.4 volt, 0.10. So very, very quick, and yeah, very good value for money. So what we need to do, we need to start getting rid of the some screws and get into the XMAXX and pull out the old servo. But if you want more information about these, I'll leave the link in the description as well. GearBest has these. They also have other JX servos as well, but yeah, I think I might put this guy in the DHK Maximus. Much better servo, and it is waterproof. This one said it's not waterproof, but I was looking at some of the specs and it says it is. So whatever. We'll ultimate test is run through some water and see if it keeps working. Now, if you want to watch an in-depth video how to replace a servo, Traxxas have one on their website, on their YouTube channel, sorry, so go watch that. But basically, there are 9 screws at the top, 8 that hold the chassis together, and there's 1 here that holds the servo mechanism, you know, to the servo linkage as well. And there are also 8 at the bottom here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, remove those guys, and then, because the XMAXX is each modular, you can just separate the front half to the center section. Yes, I'm using this awesome DeWalt driver. Just make sure the torque settings are pretty low, or, you know, a bit of common sense comes into play when you, especially when you're driving them back in. You don't go to town and, you know, mash the plastic. You can see why you want to use an electric drill, because they're so long. Now my bit can't reach down here, so I've got to use my good old trusty hand driver. Last one. And now you're going to remove the 8 screws at the bottom. Once those 8 screws are removed, you can just pop off this center plate and you can get access to the front and everything that you need to. Now once all those screws are, as you can see, it just pulls apart really easy. That's the benefit of the XMAXX being modular. Okay, now just for, now I should have done it when all the wheels are on, but whatever. Connected the battery, just showing you the stock speed. You know, it's not a bad servo. The upgraded servo that you get with the 2085X is actually quite decent, but you know, I thought this would just be a fun experiment. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. This particular part, you know, it's cheap. It's I think only like $10, not even. So 7749, that's the part that you need. So yeah, there's nothing to it. It's cheap as. I got those servos, so you know, I thought it'd be a good test. But there's the stock setup. As you can see, once you pull the front section of the XMAXX, that's all you're left with. And like I mentioned before, this isn't a true 1/5 scale servo. I know it's not a 1/5 scale car, but a lot of the size of it is in the actual shroud here, so it's kind of deceptive. But yeah, so a lot of people say, oh, a standard size servo. Really, this is not 1/5 scale. So there's the stock setup. Now all we need to do to get this guy out, you have 3 screws here, 1, 2, and 3, and once that's done, we can actually remove the servo and move to the next step. So Easy as that. Let's turn the car off. Now I have to put all this stock 6S ESC in here because I am going to put the Max 5 in it, and I got all the 8S differentials and all that kind of cool stuff coming. Crazy Cargo is giving me his stuff because he's upgrading all to, I think it's Fastlane RC stuff, which is super awesome to be honest, but super expensive as well. But you know how Carbo is. Okay, now once that's done, you'll be able to pull the servo out. That's it. Now before you just yank that out of there, you got to make sure you unplug it from the receiver on the other side, like this. It's pretty easy stuff, nothing to it. Just make sure when you pull these guys out, you don't yank everything, because you don't want to strip any of these wires. Just a pain in the backside. So all we need to do is pull this guy out of there. And whenever I seem to do on any of these builds, my neighbour or someone across the road or whatever always wants to do lawn mowing, so you can hear like something in the background. That's what it is. So that's it there. That is your servo. Now we'll get the one that we're replacing it with, which is this guy just here, and we can see the difference. See, there we go there. So it obviously is much bigger, the total, total dimensions of it, but a lot of it is to do with this shroud. Doesn't seem that heavy at all, but this will be an awesome test. So let's get this guy. So here is, there we go there. So as you can see, it takes up that slot, takes up that space there, just holds it in nicely. So this will be a really cool test. I haven't really seen any videos on this on the good old YouTube, so I thought whatever, let's give it a go and let's see how it works. So apparently you do need to cut the bottom of the servo just here. It's a bit hard when it's not metal to actually fit into, the Traxxas XMAXX. So this guy here you have to apparently cut off. So one thing to notice when you do take the stock servo out, that you can't use this particular horn. This is kind of like a unique horn, steering horn for the Traxxas XMAXX. It looks weird because this guy goes into the chassis. It's got a ball bearing on this side to kind of support it, so you won't be able to use this setup here. I'll probably able to use this actual steering linkage, but you'd have to use your own new servo horn. So lucky I have this one lying around. It is metal, so it is really nice as well. Will be plenty strong enough. So I'll have to undo this. I'll get this steering linkage out and I'll be able to put it on here, and yeah, we can go through there. So once that's all set up, this would work. This blind, it is plastic as well. It is thick. I'm not too sure the exact size, but what I can do, let me actually get it out to show you. Now if you upgrade to the 8X or 8S version, you could still use that, but there you go. I'll take this one off. You can see the difference. It's quite substantial, and although this is a bigger servo, that is plastic. So if you have metal gears but you have a plastic spline, well, I don't really see the point. But anyway, it is what it is. There's a difference. Let me see if I can find the screw for this and lock it away. Put this guy on nice and straight. And always make sure that your steering servo is centered before you hook everything up, and lock it all away, because it's bloody annoying when it isn't. And a quick note, depending on your servo and which way the actual wire is coming out, you might need to cut a little relief in this plastic like I had to do here, because this sits in just like that, so you need enough room for this particular wire to come out the side and not get it all mangled up and pushed to one side. Now silly me, I thought it was going this way. It actually goes into the car this way, so I don't need to cut that notch that I had already done there, but no big deal. So all you got to do, put that guy in there and it's it. Use those two included screws, put it in there, and it's as simple as lining up all the holes, feed your servo cable through there. You don't want to get that kinked and damaged in any way, so feed that guy through just as that, and once it's all in there, fits in there really nice. And depending on your servo, you might need to cut a small piece of this front bulkhead, because the plastic might just jut out a little bit. No big deal. But if I pull this cable down, pull that cable down, push these little tabs, there we go. That servo, you can see, is in there tight, and all I need to do, depending on your servo horn, the new one, you might rub against this. So you might need to trim a little bit of this plastic, or depending on your servo horn, it will clear it. So let me just try to show you that just in there. Just a tolerance in there might be tight, but I can always change that. But that's all you need to do. So make sure you've got your 2 screws that are included. Lock that servo into that new mount, and then 3 screws, and then you put this plate back on, and you can put it all back together. Last screw out of the 3 to secure it. And yeah. Hey, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Saves you guys buying it and trying it. As you can see, it's in there, and I actually got the Dremel out, and I just trimmed a little bit of the back end of that aluminium steering servo, but there you go. Seems very solid in there. Definitely does its job. And like I mentioned before, you don't need to cut out this. I was just an idiot and I thought it was the other way around. But no biggie, as you can see there, it's in. So let's put the car back together and connect the steering rod back up to the main part of the car. Now, one more thing before I put it all together. It's important that to get the, I guess, the most benefit of having a stronger servo is upgrading or shimming out this particular servo saver spring, because when you buy the upgraded 8S servo, you get a much beefier spring. So, you know, what I might do is I might just go buy that spring, or I might just shimmy this out and compress it a little bit more to give it some more, you know, be a bit stronger. So there it is, guys. Everything is attached, ready to go. I have the steering's the wrong way around, but it gives you a good indication. It is pretty quick. There we go there. Not too bad. Now obviously the true test will be out on the field where I'll give it a good old bash, and I'll probably compare it with Crazy Carbo's 8X, 8S upgraded one as well, just to see how it is. It's still got the stock 6S servo saver spring in there, so that probably won't be beneficial as well. But hey, whatever. You don't need to do this. I just want to give it a go. The Servo Adapter is cheap. It's like $10, and make a video out of it if you guys might want to do it yourself or have other options, because there is not many options to use a 1/5 scale servo with this guy. Yeah, it's a kind of limited, and they kind of make you buy their particular servo, which, you know, it is what it is. So if you have a nice juicy standard servo, you can always use it and just get this servo adapter. I'll leave the link in the description where I bought it from. It's from RC Mart. So yeah, that's what it is. I haven't got everything installed correctly yet. It's got just the 4 screws up top to hold it together so I can give it a good old test out. But yeah, sweet. Happy with it. We'll see how it goes. Any questions? Leave them down below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. If you like the video, give it a good old thumbs up. And if you haven't, please subscribe. Hit that little bell button so you get notified of all my latest videos. And yeah, thanks for watching. Steve Rigging from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. See you in the next video.